How is that for an empowering opening to our 283rd Sunday gathering? Wow. Well, friends, welcome. We are so grateful you're here. We have friends here for the first time and friends that have been here for a long time, and people here in between. You're all family, all friends. If you can imagine this beautiful globe, this planet Earth that we're on, usually joined by around 150 people. So that's 150 shining bright lights all over the world. I'm Sandra. If we haven't yet met, I'm joined here today by my good friends Darren and Dominic to share some inspiration, some empowerment, some joy, some prayer, some healing, and the great reality that we live on after our physical body passes away and our loved ones are still part of our lives. So, what could be better than that? We are here for about 90 minutes ish together. Everything's recorded. You can see all past Sunday gatherings and register for upcoming ones all at we-don't-die.com. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Darren.
Hello everyone, how are we all? Hope we are good and well. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. What a beautiful Sunday. And Sunday gathering number 283. Wow, how many weeks? It's crazy, isn't it? Who would have believed it? And me and Sandra was only talking a minute ago about how fast the weeks go as we get older. And who would have thought all that time ago we'd be at 283, but here we are. And today's Sunday gathering has been put together by none other than Mr. Dominic Bogue. He's orchestrated it all. He's done the order of service and got all our songs together for today. And today Dominic's chosen a theme of change your life. You know, how changing lives, we can change our life if we choose to. We take personal responsibility and take actions to make a difference within our lives. And looking at how simple changes in thoughts can help change how we feel and see our life. So, but I won't go into too much of that because we'll all, between the three of us, cover that through our whole Sunday gathering here today. So you have myself, who will be doing the opening prayer, part of the address and the healing. You have Mrs. Sandra Champlain, the hostess with the mostest, with all the little birds. She'll be doing all the behind the scenes stuff, making stuff flow as simple and effective as she always does, with a big smile on her face. She will be doing our reading today and our words for the week. And then we have none other than Mr. Dominic Bogue, all the way from Scotland, who will be doing our demonstration of mediumship for today, our closing prayer for today, and joining me to do part of the address for today. And hopefully you guys will all thoroughly enjoy it as much as we do. So without further ado, let's start off this Sunday gathering in joining me for today's opening prayer. We come here together on this beautiful Sunday, united as one, coming together as unique individuals that we are, with our own personalities and our own mindsets, coming together speaking our own language and having our own dialects, coming together from different countries within our world, uniting here together as one under that banner of We Don't Die, with our sole goal and purpose to be of service in any way we can, in uniting our world with that world we call unseen, and all those that have walked this land before us. And in coming together here today, we do so with no demands or no expectations, but allow our friends, helpers, and loved ones in that world we call unseen to share their words, thoughts, and wisdom, allowing us all to absorb to bring us those moments of joy, healing, and upliftment, so we may leave this Sunday gathering in a much more positive frame of mind. And in coming here together today, we all come together as equals, as there is no discrimination or prejudice here or from those within the unseen world. So each and every one of us in coming together here today can allow ourselves to be immersed once again in the unconditional love and that healing balm, and come together into joy and celebration of bringing the two worlds together once again, as we allow ourselves to fall back into the arms of the eternal world. We all find it an absolute joy and privilege to have these Sunday gatherings and be part of this wonderful experience, walking hand in hand, side by side, allowing the light to shine brighter and making a positive impact to all of mankind. So as always, as we enter into this Sunday gathering, We do so with positivity within our minds, love within our hearts, and smiles upon our faces, so that we truly can create that perfect meeting ground in which the two worlds can truly come together as one. And we ask as always that that healing light continues to shine to all four corners of our world to bring that joy and that love to all those hearts and minds that may be in need on this day. So without further ado, my friends, we welcome you here today. Amen.
Thank you so much, Darren. And now your reading. Have you ever felt like you are stuck? That feeling when you look at your life or even the landscape of your own mind and it feels overgrown with problems, with grief, with worries that seem like impossible weeds. We can spend all of our energy fighting them, pulling at them until our hands are sore and our hearts hurt, but still they remain. But the most profound change doesn't always come from a battle. Sometimes it comes from a single quiet act of planting something new. I want to share a story with you, a parable I call the gardener of forgotten seeds. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Anne who inherited a plot of land that had been in her family for generations. When she arrived, her heart sank. The garden, once famed for its beauty, was now a tangled mess. It was choked by thick, thorny vines she called the sorrow briars, which snagged at her clothes and her spirit. And the ground was thick with stubborn, deep rooted weeds she knew as regret root. Every single day, Anne would go out and wage war on the garden. She would pull and tear at the regret root until her back ached. She would try to chop down the sorrow briars, only to have their thorns cut deep into her skin. Anne was exhausted, bleeding, and filled with despair. For every vine she cut, two more seemed to creep in. The garden, which was meant to be her home, felt like her prison. One afternoon, defeated, she collapsed onto the ground and cried. She saw only the thorns, only the weeds, only the endless, impossible work. An elderly woman named Maria, who lived on the next plot of land, had been watching Anne for days. She walked quietly to the fence. She didn't offer criticism or advice. She simply held out her hand. "Stop fighting the garden," Maria said in a voice as smooth as silk. "It is a story written in every root and thorn. You cannot erase its past, but you can give it a new future." Maria opened her hand. In her palm lay a single, tiny seed that shimmered with a faint golden light. "This is a hope bloom," she said. "Stop your war. Find one small patch of earth, no bigger than your two hands. Clear it and plant this. Give it all of your attention, not give all of your attention, not to the weeds you hate, but to the seed you wish to grow." Anne was doubtful, but her spirit was too broken to fight any more. She found a tiny circle of soil, pulled the few weeds from it, and planted the shimmering seed. That day, she did not fight the briars. She did not pull the roots. She simply sat by her small patch of cleared earth. Every morning, instead of starting her war, she would bring a little water to her little seed. She would whisper to it. She would protect it. And soon a tender green shoot emerged. The shoot grew into a stem, and that stem unfurled the most magnificent flower. Anne was speechless. It was beautiful. The petals were the color of the sunrise, and it glowed with the same soft golden light the seed once held. And a miracle began to happen. The light from the hope bloom seemed to warm the soil around it. The dense regret root near the flower began to loosen its grip. The thorny sorrow briars wouldn't grow near its gentle light. The single flower didn't kill the weeds, but it changed the entire environment. For the first time, Anne wasn't looking at a field of thorns. She was looking at a single beautiful flower. You see, her focus had changed. And in doing so, she realized she had the power to fill the entire garden with light, one seed at a time. My friends, every one of us is Anne, and our mind is that garden. It holds the stories of our lives, the painful sorrow briars of grief, the deep regret roots of our past, and we can exhaust ourselves. We can break our own hearts trying to rip them all out. But this story teaches us a gentler, more powerful way. It reminds us that we each have a choice. We can stop focusing all of our energy on the pain we wish to remove and instead place our focus on the good we wish to grow. You don't have to fix your life in one day. You just need to plant one seed. So, what is one small thought, one small act of self-kindness, the one moment of gratitude you can tend to today? Nurture that one seed, give it your loving attention, because by cultivating that single beautiful bloom of hope, you create a light so bright that it doesn't erase the shadows of your garden, but it changes its landscape forever. And it reminds you that you are and always have been the gardener. A couple quick quotes to ponder. As Gandhi said, a man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. And I know you remember this. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Thank you, and I'll hand it over to Darren for our healing.
Thank you for that wonderful reading, Sandra. It's always good to have those, being left with those thoughts to ponder on, isn't it? And how we can put it in perspective within our own lives. So I'm now going to take us into our healing segment, and we've got a beautiful song by a beautiful lady called Gabrielle, and the song is called Dreams. A little known fact, this song actually started off as a poem by Gabrielle. And it's she started it off as a poem of all the struggles and, unfounded promises she was given trying to make it within the music career. But the one thing she did, she never gave up. And look where look where this song derived from. And it kind of reminds us of when we're sitting here doing our healing or sending out our healing thoughts, we're coming together, as a small group in real terms, when you think of the size of the world. But the one thing we can never underestimate is the power of the healing thought and what good is being done within the world. We may never get to see it or hear about it, but we just have to have trust and faith to believe that this healing power we're about to create here today is going to do immense great work within this world. So let's just sit back. You can sit and listen to the song with your eyes closed or your eyes open, but just send and project that love and that positive energy and allow the spirit world to do as they deem.
Well, isn't that a beautiful song to take us through healing? Absolutely fabulous. So, when Darren and I were discussing who was going to plan the theme for this week, I said, okay, I'll do this week, and Darren, you can do next week. So, I started to think about what is important and what would be interesting and maybe thought-provoking. And I started to think about personal responsibility, us being responsible for ourselves, our actions, our lives, the way things go, and the way maybe things don't go. And I started to think about, are we truly responsible for the life that we live? Are we the ones that are responsible for the thoughts and the way that we see life? And it really had me thinking, in reality, yes, Yes, we are. But it's hard to actually put it all into perspective. It's actually hard to think that how we think can shape tomorrow. And it really had me thinking of perhaps if we're having a bad day, which we all do, we all have bad days. I've certainly been having a bad week, never mind a bad day. And I realized actually, you know what, Dominic, you are in charge of how you feel. You're in charge of what you do next. And I had to take some time for me. I had to cancel some of my work, which, Darren and Sandra both know that's not something I take lightly, is needing to cancel or reschedule any of my work. But I had to. I had to for my own personal mental health and my own sanity, I guess. So I took responsibility to be able to say, you know what, I have to reschedule my clients, I have to reschedule some time, I need me time. And it had me thinking, well, if we have a bad day, can we make a bad day better? And if we can make it better, how can we make it better? And what I did after I had rescheduled my work and came home and lay in bed and had a good old cry to myself and then had a little nap, I got up and I went in a shower and I says to my partner, Mark, let's go a walk. I need to get out. And I made that choice to get up out my bed and stop feeling sorry for myself and go in a shower. And that's a very simple action, isn't it, really? It's probably something that some of you have done just very recently. It's maybe something that we, well, I hope, do every day is go and shower and keep ourselves clean. And I know you're going to think I'm absolutely crazy, and well, I probably would agree with you. But as I was showering and I was, cleaning my hair, and I have mint shower gel, and I always smell it because of aromatherapy. So I'm smelling the mint. This is sounding a little bit crazy telling you how I shower, doesn't it? But anyway, I'm cleaning myself, and I'm almost imagining myself cleaning away my negative thoughts and cleaning away how upset I was and what was burdening me and what wasn't burdening me. And I was visualizing it all dripping off of me and then going down into the hole. I thought, yeah, that's a step. That's it. It's gone. And I got myself dressed and like I said, we went a walk. But I took that responsibility to pick myself up out of the bed and then go into the bathroom to shower. That's step one. That's a step, isn't it? It's like we were listening to the video at the beginning. It's a step forward. It wasn't a magic wand. It didn't, dry my eyes and make me jump out of bed and shout, "Yay!" But it was a step forward. And then when I was out a walk and I was walking by the water and watching some boats going past and listening to the birds, well, isn't it a wonderful place to be alive? Isn't it nice to listen to the birds and see people passing and, watch the boats going past? And I don't know what the birds are saying, if they're even saying anything, but in my thought, were saying they're singing a song for me. Those birds are telling me that they love me and that I'm good or I'm a nice person or it's going to be okay. They probably weren't. They were probably saying, give me some of your potato chips, but that's a different story. But what I'm trying to really relay is taking action for how we feel. We have a choice, don't we? Especially if we have a bad day, or maybe you're sick, maybe you're going through some treatment, maybe you're grieving, and that's a very important thing to acknowledge, isn't it? Is grief. That's why we're all here. But we have a choice. And some of you may not like what I'm about to say, but unfortunately, it's reality. You have a choice to stay in that bed and cry into your pillow. That's not going to change your reality. It's not going to change your situation, nor is it going to heal it. Yes, we have to sometimes take a moment and cry and sulk into the pillow, but there comes a point that we have to say, I need to get up. I need to get up. And whether that's getting up and going into the kitchen from your bedroom and maybe making yourself a coffee or a cup of tea or, maybe making yourself a sandwich or taking a cookie. It's better than where you were in the bedroom and lying in bed. And maybe the next day you'll go from the kitchen to maybe then the living room, and you may actually switch on your television and you may watch, I don't know, Jerry Springer or the Ricky Lake Show or maybe The Simpsons or I don't know, maybe something that will actually take you from that negative and take you into maybe somewhere positive. And then who knows, maybe the next day you go from the kitchen to the lounge to actually your garden. And boy, if we can get you into the garden from the bedroom, well, that's a great thing because then you'll be able to see the beauty of life. You'll be able to see exactly like Sandra said, whether it's the weeds and the roots, or maybe it's the beautiful flowers, or if you're blessed like Sandra, seeing all the birds and the hummingbirds and maybe deers, or I don't know, wildlife, and maybe that again just takes you into a more positive place to where you were. And then who knows, the garden, well, let's just be extreme and say we go from the garden to the store. And in the store, maybe you have a chat with someone. Maybe you've not spoke to someone in a little while, and someone saying, it's great to see you. Not seen you in a while. Just so you know, my daughter's expecting her first child, or my son graduated, or my husband got the all clear from cancer. So there's a positive being put into your energy, being put into your environment, being put into your mindset. And it's all about taking a step forward. It's all about you having the personal responsibility to say, I need to do something. I'm a true believer that when we hit rock bottom, it's actually the best place to be, because if you hit rock bottom, then you can't get any lower, can you? You can only go up. So again, changing it from I am so low and I'm at rock bottom, I'm doomed, I'm stuck, I have no way out, to actually changing it to actually I've hit rock bottom, I can't get any lower, I can only move forward. But again, it's what we do with it. If you're in a crap job, or a job that maybe you're not getting on with colleagues, or maybe you can't keep up with new systems or new technology, well, if you're going to stay there and just get by, then it's not going to change. It's not going to change how you feel because you're already in that negative rut. So if you then decide to make that decision to maybe look for a transfer, or talk to someone and say, can I try training, or can I go into a different department, or is there another role for me? Or take the plunge, take the leap of faith and say, you know what, this is no longer me. There's something better out there for me. Take the responsibility to make that change. I know it's easier said than done, isn't it? Trust me, I know some of you are probably sitting rolling your eyes like, hey, there's Dominic that thinks he knows it all. But actually, Dominic knows nothing. All he knows is experience. And it's really interesting because, like I said, when Darren and I were talking about who's going to do the themes, I was on cloud nine. I was absolutely living my best life, very happy, in a great place. And then 2 days later, I was in the complete opposite place. I was in a place of feeling, what's the point? Self-worth, losing my confidence, not feeling that I was worthy, or I don't even know. And here I am talking about making a change and how to perhaps change our mindset. And that's really what it comes down to, actually, is how we see things and how we choose to look at aspects of life. We all have family that maybe we don't see often, or maybe there's been a fallout. We have a choice to either fix it and say, you know what? It doesn't matter who was right or who was wrong. I'd rather have you in my life rather than not have you in my life. It's about making that change, or choosing to take a step forward and be positive and to grow from it. We have to start somewhere. And again, like that video says, taking a step forward each day. I don't know where it came from, and let me tell you, I'm no expert of getting philosophy. I'll leave that to my dear friend Mr. Milligan with his words of wisdom with his friends in the spirit world. However, a thought came to me the other day. Why try to swim the ocean when you can't even paddle in the pond? Let's start paddling in the pond before we try to swim the ocean. Let's take a gentle step forward. Let's choose to look at life differently. Let's choose to change our life in a more positive manner. Trust me, when we finish, I am changing my mind of going from, just surviving and having a comfortable life to I'm going to be a billionaire. And trust me, if I'm not here next week, you know it's worked. And I will suggest that you all follow it, and there will be a book to come of how to become a billionaire. But in reality, I know that's not going to happen, but it sounds good, doesn't it? But again, I'm just fooling around. I'm just trying to cheer myself up and put a little smile on my face. And, maybe I'll be a billionaire with love. How about that? Maybe that's all I need in life. But you have a choice. You have a choice of how to see things. Many people will look at the weather forecast and go, oh God, another storm is coming, or another hurricane's coming, or there's more rain coming. For me, I live on the river, and trust me, it's raining all the time. But then I go walking and I see all the beautiful trees and the greenery and, well, the grass. Well, that provides lots of food for the cows, doesn't it? But then I heard Sandra saying just when I logged on, as I was quickly doing my hair, that, well, rain actually brings rainbows. There's a positive there, isn't there? And trust me, we all need a little rainbow in life, don't we? Brings lots of colours, the reds, the blues, the greens, and trust me, I'm not going to sing any Mary Poppins songs of Somewhere Over the Rainbow or anything like that. However, at least a rainbow gives us something to go, oh, there's a little something to be positive about or something to look forward to. New life. Yes, unfortunately, there's a saying, isn't there? God closes one door and opens another. Whether we agree with that or not, sometimes when one life goes on to the next chapter of life into the spirit world, a new life is brought into our world. And we can see a positive of, through grief, the sadness of saying goodbye to one and welcoming and saying hello to another. Yes, it's really how we choose to see it, isn't it? We all work hard. I'm sure each and every one of you at some point, if not still, work your butt off to get by and pay your bills. But hopefully you treat yourself then to having a vacation or a holiday. So all that hard work, hopefully then you've got something in your mind to be looking forward to. So then you can look back and say, well, all those assessments and all those paperworks that I had to file, oh, that was grueling. But here I am sitting on the beach or hiking a mountain or going down a beautiful river on a gondola, whatever it may be. Hopefully, it then gives you that prospect of it was worth it in the end, wasn't it? We can't change our life overnight, but we can certainly make a start. Always think about, am I changing my life by just lying in this bed and sulking and crying to myself? Is that going to change how tomorrow looks? It doesn't. I'm so sorry to say this, but if you are going to sit around and wait for someone to change your life, you will wait a very long time. There is no one better to change your life than yourself. Be yourself, change your life, and find what makes you happy and what makes you want to go from the bed to the shower, to the kitchen, to the garden, to the store, to maybe then jumping on an aeroplane and visiting places in the world that you've always wanted to do. There may be some of you who had big dreams and aspirations that maybe you were going to do with a husband or a wife or a partner, and maybe they are no longer with us physically. And you've got that place of, well, there's no point anymore. I'm not going to take that trip to Mexico because, oh, Sheila's not with me anymore. That was Sheila's dream, not mine. But you can still say, well, you know what? Sheila would want me to go. And when I do go, Sheila will then be with me. So changing that aspect of there's no point, there's no need, it's not mine, but actually let me still do it because I know she or he will be then with me. So again, it's changing how we see things and how we look. And mental health is one of the hardest things to identify. It's invisible, isn't it? But we've all been there. And I think it would be very silly if we tried to pretend that we've not been there or not being down or seeing things in a different light. But just remember, when you hit rock bottom, it's a damn good place to be because the only way is up. There's a song in that somewhere, isn't there? But it's what we choose to do and how we choose to see things. But one thing I will say to you is it can only get better. It can only get better. When it gets tough and when it's not good, it can only get better. And just change that mindset. Take it one step at a time. But also don't be hard on yourself. Allow yourself to go, you know what? I'm tapping out. I am pooped. I need today or I need this week. I need me time. And that's something that I've struggled with for many years. But this week I had to just flame out. I'm done. And my motto is, how can I heal everyone else if I can't heal myself? So I had to take time just to breathe, heal myself and find myself and give myself a good old dusting off and say, Dominic, stop being a sucker, get on with it. Everything is going to be all right. And I believe that. I really do. I really do believe that everything's going to be all right. And I want you to start telling yourself, everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be good. So, one step at a time, change your life. Think about the life that you want. But all I ask you is take responsibility for the life that you want to live. Now I'm going to pass over to my dear old buddy, Mr. Darren.
Thank you for that, Dominic. And glad to hear you got up and had that shower with your mint shower gel. And you're absolutely right. Everything will be all right. So thank you for sharing your words and your thoughts. You know, I know for myself and many people here, we really appreciate that. Sometimes it's not nice to hear the story, but it's nice for people to share and be open and honest, and expose themselves like that. It's very rare and hard to see, but we all send you a virtual hug, Dominic. And we're here for you whenever you need us, all of us, that is. But when Dominic spoke, a lot of what he spoke about resonated with me, and I started thinking, oh yes, oh yeah, all these kind of things started to go around in my head. And I'm a true believer, we are responsible for our own actions and what we do and how we live, and to a degree our happiness. We're fully in control of that. And I believe we're fully in control of our lives. Is it easy? No, it's not. It can be tough, it can be hard, and we've all gone through those moments. But it's as Dominic was talking, and believe it or not, when Sandra was talking, I started to get all these thoughts and that in my head. In my younger life, I used to live in an area in South London. When I first moved there, it was lovely. And over the years, and as Sandra was talking about nature and being out with the birds and this, that, and the other, I lived there for over 20 years. I called it home. It's my family home, and I worked in an area. But as I got older, I grew to despise it. I grew to dislike it. It was all granite, it was all brick, it was all concrete. Sandra and Dominic's both talked about being out in nature with the birds, the fields, the trees. We didn't have any of that there. It was like a concrete jungle. As many of you know, many cities are the same. Crime started to get worse. There was everything you could think of. And I thought to myself one day, I'm not enjoying this. I don't want to live here. I don't want to grow up here. And one day, it took me a while, probably took me over a year, keep going through my head, what am I going to do? How am I going to change? And I thought, like Dominic said, nobody's going to change it for you. You've got to do it yourself. And I was going to work, I used to be a retail manager back then, and I was going in to work and I thought, do you know what? I'm not being a retail manager. I'm going in dealing with drug crime, gang crime, gun crime, violence. This is all I'm doing every day. Robberies, theft. That's all I'm doing. I'm being a crime firefighter, if you like. And I'm not doing the job I'm paid to do, and I'm not enjoying it. So one day I bit the bullet and I thought, "Do you know what? I need to move." And I made the bold decision, sat my family down, told them what I was going to do. And I moved down to the south coast, not far from where I am now. And I remember my family was shocked, because back then I was a quiet person. So I wasn't very vocal with my thoughts and views and opinions. And I remember sitting down and saying, right, this is what I need to do. I'm not happy that, which meant moving away from all my family that I'd lived with for 20 years, moving away from all my friends, going to a place I didn't know, to people I didn't know. And I even moved my job at the same time, same company, but completely different location. And I remember when I made that move, that last night I spent up in London in my bed, and all the nerves kicked in. Am I doing the right thing? Shall I cancel? Shall I stay? All these thoughts went through my head. And I thought, no, do you know what? I need to be brave. I need to do this. It's the only way I'm going to get my true happiness. So next day, gets in the van with all my stuff, moved. It was only about an hour's drive. It wasn't far. So I could still go back and see family and all those kinds of things. Now I look back, so many years later down the line, and I think, do you know what? That was the best decision I ever made in my life. As hard as it was, I still go back and see family. I still go back and see friends. They come and see me, vice versa. And it's the best decision I ever made. I now have all my family's now moved down here, believe it or not, they followed me. A lot of my friends have now moved kind of down this way. And I met Scott down here, which, hey, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a good thing, because I'm truly happy. And I thought, do you know what? And I still keep in touch with people there. And I speak to them and they're always moaning and groaning and I look back at the news in the area and the crimes through the roof and all these things are going on. And I thought, I'm so grateful I made that decision all those years ago to do what I did. As hard as it was, my path isn't how I visioned it to be, but life's never that simple. Life's never going to be how you envision it to be. We tread different pathways. Our pathways change, whether that's our doing or someone else's doing. But you know what? As long as you end up in a better place where you feel happier, go with it. Go with the pathways. Life is not there to be simple. If life was simple, it'd be boring. You know, there's always going to be obstacles and caveats, and God knows what. There's many things on our journey, and life isn't there to be easy. It's there to be enjoyed. It's there to go with the flow, make the most of it. And then I kind of got thinking about the Sunday gathering, you know, and I think if I asked all of you here today, if you look to the nuts and bolts deep down, what brought you here today? Not necessarily today, but over the course of time, what brought you to We Don't Die? It's that number one thing we've all got in common: grief. And if it wasn't for grief, I wouldn't have met Sandra. I wouldn't have met Dominic. We wouldn't be the great friends that we are today. And grief is one of the biggest things, one of the biggest negative things that impacts all of us. But in a roundabout way, like I said, and Dominic's touched on, we're responsible for ourselves. There is no simple solution. There is no simple answer how to deal with grief. We all deal with grief in different ways. We're all made up differently. We all respond differently. We all behave differently. And nobody in this world can tell you how to deal with grief. You deal with it your own way. People can give you ideas, can give you suggestions, like Sandra's book, full of ideas and suggestions how we can try and cope with grief. But the sad reality is there is no one single way to deal with it. If we had a magic wand, we'd quite happily wave it and help everyone deal with grief. But there is no simple solution. We deal with it in our own way and our own time, and no one can tell you any different. But it's only ourselves that can get us through. You never get over grief. So I'm probably using the wrong phrase, but we're the only people, like Dominic talked about, we're the only people that can get ourselves up and going again in the morning. Once that reality of grief's hit, we'll never forget, we never move on, but we can learn to grow from that. And it's down to us to do that, however you do that. Dominic had a moment where he needed to kick himself up the backside, get himself into gear, and one step at a time, he done it. Grief works in a similar way. We choose how we want to live. When I think back to some of the people that I've lost in the past, and the same as you guys, when you think back to some of the people you've lost, how would they want you to live your life? Would they want you to sit there crying every day, thinking about them every day? Or would they want you to sit there thinking about them every day, but smiling about them, the memories you have, the happiness you had? And they'd want you to be happy. Nobody wants anyone to be upset or, miserable for their lives. So sometimes we have to think, what would our loved ones want? And I know as I'm talking about it, I'm smiling because I'm thinking of some of my loved ones and the memories we had and the laughs we had, and it brings me joy. So I think sometimes bad things happen or negative things happen, but we can turn that into a positive. Through grief or through, the history of grief, I got to meet Sandra. Sandra came over to a conference that was being held in the UK where she was coming over to meet Scott. I happened to be there. And before you know it, Sandra's, coming over to stay in our house. We visit her in her house. We've had vacations together. We celebrate together. We laugh together. We cry together. We do all those kind of things together. And then Mr. Dominic, again, met many, many years ago through a conference to do with grief or to do with mediumship. But bottom lines, it's grief. That's where we first met. Then we caught up a few years later, became good friends. And the same, we have laughs together, we cry together, we can talk about things, So when I look back and think of this horrible word we call grief, and I look at what it's done to me and where it's brought me, well, I'm looking at these two faces on the screen. I'm thinking, wow, this is where it's brought me. I couldn't think of anything greater or any greater honor to call these two people my friends. And the same as you guys, each week in and week out, we can't see your faces, but we see the names and it brings us smiles. It brings us that joy. It is Grief Ultimate that brought us here, but in a nice roundabout way, it's brought us all together. It's brought us to have a wonderful community of people. And like Sandra said earlier, when you look at the chat box, it was alive and kicking earlier. And it was full of you guys helping each other, supporting each other. And I saw one on there, one person wants to meet with that person, one person wants to meet with that. And I thought, do you know what? I can imagine down the line, you're all going to be meeting in these little groups of Sunday gathering people, meeting for a little vacation or a holiday together, whatever it may be. But when you're thinking the nuts and bolts of it, how did that come about? It come about ultimately through grief. We've all come here today through grief. But then in a roundabout way, look at the happiness and joy we've got today. We all know what each other's gone through. We all know what each other's experienced. And you know what? With Sandra, with Dominic, I can have happy, joyous moments. But at the same time, we can sit there and talk about our loved ones. And we can talk about the stories of our loved ones. And nobody's judged. Everyone gets it. And that's the beauty of it. It takes grief to bring us together, but it takes wonderful friendships to keep us together. And that's what we need to look at sometimes. We always need to look on the positive of life. We all have bad moments in life. I was going to use a bad word then. We all use bad moments in life. We all have moments that we just want to give up. We want to get into bed. We don't want to see the world. We don't want anything to do with the world. But when we look out there, think how truly beautiful the world is. Dominic's talked about it, Sandra's talked about it. You get out of bed, have that shower, have that wash. And I do the same. I love smelling my shampoo I've got coconut shampoo and and it's just lovely getting up and having that. It just, the sun's shining outside, the birds are singing, and you walk out, whether it's going, wherever you go for a walk, whether it's by the water, in a field, in the woods, no matter where it is, you'll hear the wonders around you, whether it's the crashing of the waves, the singing of the birds, the rustling of the leaves. And you can just stand there and look at the beauty you have around you. And then you have these people like Sandra, people like Dominic, people like you guys, that are there for us 100%, that are supportive. We couldn't ask for better people. So I think sometimes when we are feeling down, take that step, one step at a time, but always think back to this Sunday gathering and think of all that was spoken about and all that was done. And hopefully, you'll think, do you know what? Those three guys were right. Darren, Sandra, and Dominic were right. This world is a beautiful place. And it doesn't matter how low you get, how, if you're at your worst, think back to this Sunday gathering. Hopefully think, we're right. There is people that love us. There is people that care for us. The world is a beautiful place if we open our eyes. So never feel alone, never feel down, never feel isolated. We're here, each and every one of on this Sunday gatherings here. There's so many opportunities to really bring ourselves and make a change within our lives. So never think you can't. I always say in my book, I never use the word can't. I always say there is no such word as can't. There's only I can. And I know Scott has a saying, I can't remember, I can, I will, I do, or something like that. I can't remember how it goes. But I think, how true is that? You can try to bring happiness, you can try to change. You won't always get the result you want, but hey, you try. Just keep trying, and never give up. Because do you know what? It's easy to give up, very easy, but it's not a great place to be. So whatever you put your heart or minds to, yeah, may not turn out how you want it to be, but do you know what? Just go with it. Just keep trying. And what's that saying? If at first you don't succeed, try again. And I can assure you guys 100%, you may not feel it at this moment in time, but there is true happiness in this world for every single one of you out there. And I wish a world of happiness to each and every one of you. It's out there. Go and get it. And I'll hand you over to Sandra.
Oh, thank you so much, Darren, and thank you, Dominic. I've learned so much about you guys and empowering words, and I have lavender shampoo some days, and I have orange shampoo some days. And it's interesting, Dom brings up aromatherapy. Sometimes it's a scent that can snap me out of whatever mood I'm in or get me thinking something else. So, shampoo talk. With that, we're going to move on to our demonstration of mediumship. And this is just an opportunity to show just how close our loved ones are, that they're still parts of our lives. They're alive and well. And grief is human. Yes, we grieve, but we will see them again. Absolutely. And they can see us. So as we move into our demonstration of mediumship, there'll be a handful of representatives of our Sunday gathering in the spirit world that'll come through and say hello to their loved ones. We want you to be on the edge of your seat for this. Now, Dominic thinks maybe he planned the Sunday gathering, the theme, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody whispered it in his ear, because it often happens that those in the spirit world can be sometimes a little theme to our theme. So be on the edge of your seat. Dominic will request from those in the spirit world who wish to come through, work through him to do so. So he'll describe the person that is working with him from the spirit world. Listen in. These are family members, these are friends, these are work colleagues. Sometimes they're people a little bit distant. We have no idea sometimes how the spirit world works and why the people come through who do come through. But I always believe that their words are so important for all of us. So don't take it as these people are getting a reading and so I'm going to tune out. No, these people are chosen from the spirit world because their words are going to impact all of us. So with that, when Dominic gives a description of the person that he's got from the spirit world, if you understand that information as your person, somebody that you know that no longer walks this earth, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, I know we have lots of people here for the first time and we have returning people. It's just a good time to stretch your fingers, find that raise hand button and press it for us, okay? Just to get a little practice, and you'll notice that it goes from raise hand to lower hand. Now, why this is important is sometimes there's two or more people that can understand the initial bits of information. So Dominic, or whichever medium we have working with us, will continue giving bits of information. And if you say, "Ooh, that no longer counts," we want you to press your lower hand button. So everybody, lower your hands right now, you good people, you. And please use your integrity here because we are around 150 people. And if we have a bunch of people that raise their hand who could take some of the information, we're going to be here for 6 hours. So we don't want that to happen. So just use your integrity and keep your hand raised if you can take all of the information. If you're somebody who works with our medium here today on the Sunday gathering, or anytime you work with a medium from this moment forward, your job is easy. Just say yes, no, or I don't know to the evidence. Let the medium do the work for you to know that they're bringing through shared memories and details about your loved one. All right. Yes, no, or I don't know. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I think so. And it's for all of us to pull these messages for us. I challenge each and every person to be on the edge of your seat. Really listen to how close the person is in the spirit world. Maybe there's something they witness the person is doing in their life. Maybe the message comes through. You say, gee, I could really use some of that myself. So I think there's a method to the madness of those in the spirit world. So they're here for all of us. All of us. Okay. So with that, we always like to play a feel-good piece of music before we go into our demonstration. Today is no different. This is the fantastic Celine Dion, I'm Alive. It's great. Picture your loved ones by your side. You know, they work through our creativity. We think it's imagination, we're making it up. No, they work through our creativity and our feelings. So have them all cozy in the room with you. Enjoy the song, and we'll be right back with our demonstration. All right,
What a great song.
it is.
I was actually laughing how different Miss Celine Dion looks there, doesn't she? Bless her little heart. But this is the part that we all really look forward to, isn't it? Is hopefully hearing from someone special in the spirit world. But just as I was listening to the song, I was greeted with a lovely son in the spirit world. And as he came forward, I was very aware. Um, I was very aware that he takes responsibility for his own passing, and I know that he would have lost himself through drugs. And I know that there was either episodes of taking oxycodone or taking other substances that actually contributed to his passing. I know as I connected here with him as well, I feel his mum either was wearing very recently this week either a jersey, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but a jersey or like an ice hockey top or a sports top. I feel I want to acknowledge the jersey or the top belonging to this young boy as I connect here with him. I do believe he would have maybe been in his late 20s, early 30s before he makes his transition to the spirit world also.
Thank you very much. Do you understand this information? Press your raise hand button, please. We have two ladies with their hands raised, Anne and
Perfect. Let me just see if I can get just a little bit more just to work with him here. I do believe that he would have been away from the home, so I feel either he had moved away or there was a disconnection or a fallout because he wants me to talk about needing to heal the situation of the way he passed and the way that he left things with his family before he passed. So I know he either moved away, there was a fallout, there was something to do with a separation with him and mum before he passed.
thank you very much. Ladies, can you both understand that information? If yes, keep your hand raised. If not, lower your hand. And they both have their hands raised.
Okay, interesting. I also, let me just see, I do believe that he would have a sister still here on Earth as well.
Okay, thank you. Anne and Jeanette. All right. Thank you, Anne. We have Jeanette here with us. And Anne, you just keep listening in. Oops, sorry, Jeanette. You can press your unmute button. There you
Hello?
go. Oh, I can hear.
Hi, Jeanette.
Hi.
Hi, sweetie. Just very quickly, sweetie, you understand this as your son, yes?
Yes.
You do. And again, sweetie, would you understand, and if I use the wrong term, please forgive me, but were you wearing like a top or a jersey or anything belonging to your son recently?
Yes.
Yes. And was it like a sports top, like ice hockey or I don't know,
Foot-
football or something?
Football.
Football, perfect. Because I know that I want to acknowledge that being too big for you, Mum, is what I kept hearing him say. So I know that he laughs about how it drowns you when you wear it. So it makes me feel maybe he was much broader or much bigger than you, if I can certainly say this.
Yes.
And you do have a daughter, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Because I know as he connected here with me, there was elements of wanting to put things right with his mom, his daughter, your daughter, his sister, and I got the impression of either not being with each other, him moving away, or perhaps things not quite right before he passed. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, because he knows that he left you with a tremendous amount of should I have brought him home, or should I have reached out to bring him home, or to try to help him by bringing him home.
Exactly.
Yeah, because as I connected with him, and I know this is a horrible thing to say, but I need to just say it for him. He needs you to know that he is much happier seeing the way that you now look at his passing. And at first, you looked at it as hard, horrible, not fair, not good. But it's almost like he now sees you've healed, and now you realize or you understand that his passing to the spirit world was his healing. It's almost like you now know he's safer, or he's much better where he is now, sweetie. Do you understand what he would make reference to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I felt guilty about not being there
yeah,
when he
that's
passed.
okay.
And
Yeah, that's okay, because I feel like it's almost like he's giving you the praise and he's giving you the credit. Like, hey, hey, mom, it's like it's much better now. It's better this way because he's no longer going down the rabbit hole of his addiction, or he's no longer causing himself issues. Is certainly what he makes me feel here, if I can say that to you. I do want to say to you though that when he was well, and maybe even before his challenges, your son was a very good looking young man. Very good looking
yes,
young man,
he
sweetie.
was
Because I
extremely.
know, just as I connected with him, I know that he would have had the girls chasing him. He may have even had some boys giving him a look. Like he was a looker, if I can just say that to you,
Yes,
sweetie. Okay.
very much
And I
so.
know that in some ways, is it your daughter that's an artist or draws or anything? Because I feel I want to acknowledge a young lady, a young girl that perhaps has drawn a picture of him or drawn something of him.
I have.
Is it you? Okay, sweetie. Because again, he just keeps telling me to say he has seen the picture, he has seen something drawn. Is certainly what I want to say here. He keeps blowing lots of kisses to you, but it's so funny because I almost feel that in some ways, maybe, when he was leaving, or if he was going out, or if he was going, I don't know, college or whatever, almost like you standing, blowing kisses at him, and he'd like, stop doing that. You're embarrassing me. Everyone's watching. But it's almost like now he appreciates how much you loved him and how much you did for him, and he blows kisses back to you, is certainly what I want to say here. And may I ask you, would your own father also be in the spirit world with him?
Yes,
Yeah, because he's telling me to say Pop's grandpa is with him, is certainly what I need to say here as well. And is there a Tony that connects at
yes,
all?
that's
Yeah,
my father's name, his grandfather,
perfect, because
Tony.
he just says Tony, Grandpa Tony, being with him. And I know it sounds weird, but did he at any point have a love interest, or someone close to him called Michelle?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not too sure. That's okay, sweetie, because again, what I feel with him is he still lives every moment here with us all. And I know that he goes and visits like Michelle and Brandon and Steve. Like, I feel he's such a popular young man that he still goes to see his buddies, his friends, etc. Is what I need to say here. Um, I don't know if this comes back to the football top, but I keep seeing the number 17. So whether that's maybe connected to the top, or if there's a significance to the 17th of a month, I really don't know, sweetie. I don't work with numbers, so I'm not going to try to hold it as my evidence. But I'm just going to say to you, I just keep seeing the number 17 as I connect here as well. Okay. Where you live, or where you lived when he was alive, did we live near a park?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know I want to acknowledge him taking walks by the park. So again, maybe, sweetie, if you find time or just needing outdoors, go to the park. And he's where he likes to stand, where the little black fence goes around the flower beds, is certainly what I want to say to you. So just bear in mind that when you're taking walks or out and around, he walks with you. He walks with you because he wants you to know he's healed, he's much better, and it wasn't your job to save him. Okay, it wasn't your job to try to fix him. It was your job to love him. And he tells me to say to you, you succeeded in that job. you succeeded in that job, and please remind his sister that he is so proud of how far she has come, because she also, in some gentle way, went through her own issues, and he's telling me to say, look how far she has
Yeah.
come, Mum. Isn't she doing incredible?
Yeah, they both share the same birthday.
Did they? Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. So there's a beautiful connection there, sweetie. But sincerely, please know that he's with your father, Tony. And again, still very much watching over you all. So thank you so much for allowing me to share that moment with you.
Thank you.
You're very much. You take care, sweetie. Thank you. So very much aware of Mum stepping forward here from the spirit world. And it's very interesting because what I'm about to say sounds crazy, but this lady could do anything. Like, she can do anything. Like, I see her in my mind, like stitching dresses, fixing your trousers. Like, this lady, she wasn't a seamstress, she wasn't a dressmaker, but she could do everything. I also know that she could, fix curtains or pelmets in her house. I know I want to talk about, the tablecloths. Like, she could do everything or anything, is certainly what I want to say here. I keep getting the name Betty, so for me that would be maybe Elizabeth, but I keep getting the name Betty being mentioned here as I connect with her. I do believe as I connect here with her as well, there may have been, I don't know if she was originally from England or the UK and then moved, or her family first were in England and then moved to America, but I feel there's something to do with UK but then America, which sounds a little strange, but I have to go with this. I feel there may be, if not her daughter, then there would be a sister that would be Mary. Because I keep hearing Mary being mentioned also as I connect with this lady. But this lady, I feel it's Mum. She would have had issues with her heart, is what I want to say here. So whether this be like a angina or heart disease or something, but there would have been issues with this beautiful lady's heart.
Thank you very much. If you understand this lovely lady, please go ahead and press your raise hand button as you know to do. We have Pamela with her hand raised.
Tamala.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, sweetie, do you understand the Betty?
Yes,
Yeah,
that is
okay,
my mother's name.
that's Mum. And again, sweetie, I know it sounds crazy, but I feel your mum could do everything and anything. It's so bizarre. Like, I just see her doing this, fixing this, but I feel this thing about like stitching things and fixing things and the tablecloths and the curtains and the dress. Like, she could do anything.
Yeah, she was driven. Yes.
Yeah, it's so interesting. But also, do you understand the Mary as well, connecting with Mum?
Yes, that's her sister.
Perfect. That's also past.
Yes.
It's perfect because I feel like I could hear her going, "Oh, Mary, come in. This is it." But I also wanted to acknowledge like this English or this England or UK to America. Like, where am I getting this crossover?
That's just her heritage. She was
Oh,
British.
okay,
British.
okay. Because I felt like once here, but then crossing over. But would there be any connections to Washington at all?
Washington, like I don't know.
Let me just tell you what I'm seeing, okay, and we'll hold it. But I want to talk about like Washington Ave, like Washington Avenue, okay. And I don't know how, why, or what, but I know it's not like the state or anything like this. It's more like a place I want to acknowledge here. But as I connected with your mum, she kept making me want to acknowledge, let the family know I'm much better. I'm much better. And I just feel in some ways there must have been a sense of privacy with your mum where she wasn't necessarily wanting all the family to know that she wasn't doing too well.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's almost like she's over herself now. That's the words I keep hearing her say. I'm over myself now. I know that they would just help me. I know they would support me, she says, but you know what I'm like. You know where I'm like. That's what she keeps making me feel. But I also know that I want to acknowledge what I would maybe call like a jewelry box. And I'm not talking a music box. I'm talking like a jewelry box with little compartments that maybe you had kept or that mum had.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because she's showing me like opening things and she's going, and this was my mum's ring and this was my engagement ring and look, this is the, like I feel there was so much that she appreciated to do with her jewels and her pieces, if I can certainly say this to you, sweetie. But I know that you may have been looking at something recently or planning to get something fixed or polished up or resized or something. Is that true?
Um, maybe.
I almost feel like I want to talk about like fixing stones in a ring, you know, because I feel there's something missing in a ring here. But what she's acknowledging to me is she was a what's the word, like a stifler or a stickler for making sure that she kept things good. She looked after stuff, is sort of what I need to say with this. And she keeps acknowledging to me that you're a lot more like her than you realize. So again, I feel like she sees your drive or she sees your determination. And I feel this is to do with your home at the moment. Have you been decorating or renovating, like a lot of bits and pieces going on around your home just now?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because she's laughing and she's telling me to say that she doesn't feel that there's much that needed to be done, but here you are doing it again. Here you are
Oh,
doing it again. But it's almost like you just done this place or this room maybe last year and now you're changing it again or something. But it's almost like she's rolling her eyes, like, and here you are doing it again. Is sort of what I want to say to this. I may be moved but connecting to the family, would there be anyone that works in the airline industry, like a cabin crew or air steward or anything?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because I feel she likes to say congratulations where this individual's concerned. I don't know if this is a promotion or something exciting going on there, but she's very aware of seeing the family watching over and seeing this individual always traveling or going here and going there. And do we know Deborah or Debbie?
Um,
Nope. I think I've
uh,
moved. I think I've moved because it sounds different. Give me one
yeah,
second.
yeah. I don't know the Debbie.
Okay, I'm going to hold that because I think I've moved. So let me just see what else Mum wants to say before I get with the Debbie. I know that she talks about being with her sister. I know there's a great sense of them having fun, having joy. I think there's maybe a margarita or two gently flowing with them as they're laughing and joking, if I can just say this. But I know that Mum's acknowledging a sense of heritage, and I feel that if you've not been maybe talking about tracing back where mum came from or coming to the UK to visit certain places or something than a sister or a daughter. But I feel like there's a female been talking about looking through the heritage and maybe coming to visit where maybe mum came from in a sense. Okay. But she's acknowledging to me, if you want to get the job done, you're best doing it yourself. Do it yourself. Don't wait around. Fix it, do it, fix it, get it done, and at least you know the job's done right. And I feel like that was maybe her motto in life. If you want the job done, do it myself.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And how beautiful to know that your mum is seeing what you're doing with the home, the changes going on, and hopefully that just gives you that little bit of warmth and that reassurance that mum is still very much around, just really watching over you.
Oh, thank you so
You're
much.
so welcome.
Sue.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share that little moment with you, sweetie. You take care now. So I'm very much aware of hearing the name Debbie or Deborah as I connect you. I'm very much aware of a gentleman that steps forward from the spirit world here. And I know that I want to acknowledge either a birthday or anniversary just now. I'm not too sure if it's his, and I will be honest, but I know as he's coming forward here, I want to talk about Deborah. I want to talk about Debs. And I know that I want to acknowledge in some way of maybe something to do with grandchildren. I'm not too sure if he's telling me that there was a grandbaby born after he had passed, but I feel there's an excitement of him wanting to talk about grandchildren and seeing the kiddies and seeing the bears is what he's making me want to say here as he's connecting here with me. He's not very old, so I feel maybe late 50s, rubbish with age, late 50s. As I connect here with him as well. And I just know there's something to do with his journey to the spirit world happening relatively quick, not sudden, but I know that there's either a late diagnosis or the diagnosis not doing very well and then passing to the spirit world is certainly what I want to acknowledge. if you didn't keep his car or his truck, you still do, but I want to acknowledge something to do with his car or his truck that was kept for a while after he passed.
Thank you very much. Who recognizes this gentleman? Press your raise hand button, please. We have Tony.
Tony.
Tony, if you could find the
Oh,
unmute button.
that sounds, I'm not sure about the Deborah part, but my partner passed, was misdiagnosed about a little over a year and a half ago. And I've kept the vehicle. It's an SUV.
Okay. Can I just ask you, do you know like the thing about the grandchildren being born?
I really don't.
No, I don't quite feel this is then for you, if I can just say that, Tony. I don't want you having a new family member, that's for sure.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you for listening though. I almost felt like he was wanting to connect to the Debbie or the Deborah is what I want to say with this man.
Thank you very much. Who understands this information, or you think you do? Press your raise hand button for us.
I don't know if the Deborah's his sister or if it's his wife, but I feel it would be same generation with him is what I want to acknowledge.
All right, we have a hand raised. Lisa Joe with her hand raised.
Oh, I like that, Lisa Joe. That's unusual.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Hey,
This
if you just quickly just tell me what you understand, sweetie.
Well, I would not be the one. I am friends with a guy that died like last September.
Yep.
He had, yes, he got a diagnosis about 3 or 4 weeks before he died.
Yeah, that's where I feel maybe this quickness. Do you understand the Debbie connecting with him, Deborah?
That's his wife.
Perfect, fabulous. And do you understand anything to do with like the grandbabies, grandchildren?
They have, now I haven't talked to her in 4 or 5 months. I don't think there's a new grandbaby, but they have like 1, 2, at least 3 or 4
Okay.
now.
But they were very important to him, correct?
Very, yes.
Yeah, because I feel like, and again, sweetie, what a beautiful opportunity if you see fit to maybe pass on if you get the opportunity to, but let's just let it flow and see where we go
Okay.
with this. But I felt very much as he connected with me a great sense of everyone loved him, like he had such a great heart, a great soul. He would look out for so many people, and perhaps the bond and relationship that you guys had as well was quite
Yeah.
special as a friend. Do you understand?
Yes, he would do anything
Perfect.
for anybody.
Yeah, because the impression that I keep getting from him is wanting to reassure you just because he's maybe no longer here physically doesn't mean he doesn't still look out for you, doesn't mean he's not there for you. So I want you to know whatever hardship or whatever just going on at the moment, he wants you to know he's being there for you or he's supporting you. Have you hurt your
Okay.
foot or your toe or having any issues with your feet at all?
Me?
Yeah.
Not feet.
Because I feel like I want to talk about you getting your feet up and resting the feet, and I felt as if like maybe looking after your foot or something. So
I
not too
am
sure.
resting my feet because my knee is acting up really bad. So I
Okay,
have been
sweetie.
on the couch a bunch.
Perfect. Because again, spirit don't just come and say, "Hey, I'm supporting you, I'm looking out for you." That's
Right.
very boring. As a medium, I can say that to everyone, but I need him
Okay.
to give you that little bit of proof of why and what he's trying to support you or help you with.
Right.
Is sort of
Well,
what I want to say. And did you guys have a John that related with you guys as well?
oh gosh. Um, we, well,
Don't overthink it, but just bear in mind that he brings my
yeah,
attention to John as well,
not,
being connected
I
with him.
don't know, but I'm telling you, we were in a large group.
That's good. It
And I
sounds
don't
like a
stay
fun
in
group,
touch
if
with
I'm
all of
honest.
those. Yeah, we played tennis, all of us.
Yeah. Okay, that's okay. But I got the impression, sweetie, that just as he connected, he wants to acknowledge the grandchildren and a great sense of them being his bears, like the Brady Bunch is kind of what I want to talk about, like
Mhm.
all being fun, all being there. You've said tennis, so I'm not using this as my evidence, but I almost in my mind can see him like fooling around with the kids and playing ball and bat
Oh,
and whatever
for
as
sure.
well. So I know that
Mhm.
he would have, been very influential and a great support, but it makes me feel a great sadness around the 3 or the 4 week diagnosis to then his passing was really hard for people to understand and to deal with. And he just keeps telling me to say that he would have been in it for the long run if he had that time. Okay, he would have been in it for the long run if he had that time. I do feel there may become an opportunity where you will be able to see or speak to his wife, Deborah. Don't
I
feel you
will.
need to go out your way for it, because I feel like he will present that opportunity. And that's where I felt maybe a happy birthday or an anniversary just to be passed along the way as well, is certainly what
Right.
I would say to you, sweetie. So
I will be
thank you
able
for
to.
being his messenger if you see fit to. But one thing I will say is you were clearly a good friend or a dear friend to him to still
Yes.
want to come and haunt you, if I can say that to you.
Yes. He can haunt me anytime.
Yeah, but thank you so much for
Thank
allowing me
you.
to share
Thank
that
you.
moment with you, sweetie.
Thank
You're
you
so
so much.
welcome. Bless you. Thank you. That's interesting. So very much aware of another young man stepping forward here just now, or um young boy stepping forward. And the moment that I connect with him, I keep wanting to talk about um bicycles. So I know that I want to talk about him always being like on his BMXs or on his trail bikes, or I don't know what you call them, but I keep wanting to talk about his bikes being very special to him. I know that he would have, in his own way, almost like chased adrenaline. We've got to say, like an adrenaline junkie, like if he loved like his bikes and doing his things. Is certainly what I want to say here. I know that the name Taylor or Tyler, however we pronounce it, would be significant to him also, because I know that I want to say this. I also want to say Ryan as I connect with him as well. So I feel as he's connecting here with me, the friends may have done like a bike ride or like a bike marathon, or done things with the bikes as he's connecting here with me. I almost feel interesting. I almost feel like maybe there was organ failure with him. I don't know if like there's like leukemia, or like the kidneys aren't working, or something, and I can't understand it, but I know that there would have been something to do with maybe being able to get a transplant, or maybe trying to help him, but things just didn't go to plan. Is certainly what I want to say with this young boy. But that's the impression that I get. I could be wrong with this, but I feel I should be connecting with an A initial, so maybe Angela or Allison or something. But we'll see how that goes.
Thank you. All right, friends, who understands this information, please press your raise hand button for us. And we'll wait patiently.
I'm going to put that out there as well. This may be your son's friend or your daughter's friend rather than your immediate family. So I feel like a friend of yours is certainly what I want to say.
Everybody thinking? No
And it
hand.
was going so well.
Oh, okay. Wait, Anna has her hand raised. Hello.
Hello. I
Hey.
understand BMX and riding bicycle and everything exciting, and friends, Tyler and Ryan, but not the rest with the illness. My son's heart stopped.
Okay, and again, sweetie, I want to be very honest, because I really need to be integrated with this. I wasn't 100% sure what had happened, but I know that I wanted to make reference to the organ failing. Okay, so if that's the heart, not the way I would have liked to have said it or got it, so I want to be honest with that. But you understand everything else that's quite specific, yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sweetie, perfect. And I do feel in some way, like, didn't your son do something like crazy with his hair all the time? Like, did he ruffle it, or like, I don't know what he's doing here, but I kind of want to like call it shaggy, or do something quite funky with his hair.
Yes.
Yeah, because I feel like I don't know, almost like waving it around is kind of what I want to see here. And I do feel as I connected here with him, he made that reference to, it's like if he wasn't on his bike, he was sleeping. That's the easiest way I can describe. So I know that his bicycle, the bikes were like, that was almost like a piece of him. That was an extension of him, because I feel he was always on it, always doing things. And didn't he and his friends like get some like plywood and like some bricks and actually tried to make like a little ramp on the road?
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah, because he's showing me like how fun it was and all the things he used to do, and I, as a mother, goodness me, he would have made you go grey-haired before you were at the age of going grey-haired because of the things he was doing. Is sort of what I want to say here. But a very popular young man, as he's making reference to, I do also feel, as he's mentioned his friends and the people connecting with him. I don't know if you were speaking to his friend's mum recently or his friend recently, but I know that there's something to do with people still sharing stories and talking about your beautiful son a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
And did they get like bracelets or like the silicone rubber band things, like maybe with his name on it or anything?
I was thinking about ordering for all of them.
Oh, okay, perfect. Because he keeps talking to me about the bracelets, if you want to say this. So that's maybe his way of just showing you that he's aware of what you've been thinking, the things that you've been maybe contemplating doing, is certainly what I want to say here. Now, there's a beautiful dog with him in the spirit world. I don't know if it's like a golden retriever or like a Labrador or something, but I keep seeing this dog around him in the spirit world.
Oh, that's
Okay. And he
thank you.
keeps telling me to say, "Let mum know." Do you know there was a movie years ago called, and I think the dog was called Bud or Buddy.
Oh,
But I know that I want to acknowledge the dog being with him.
wow. Thank you so much.
Okay. And he keeps telling me to say to you, "I hope you know that it has been me." I want to call you mummy. "I hope you know it's me, mummy, been sending the butterfly to you." So I know that there was something to do with the butterfly coming into the kitchen.
Yes,
Yes.
very important.
Perfect. Because he keeps telling me to say he wants you to know it was him. It was him. Is sort of what I want to acknowledge with this. Now, this may sound weird, okay, but in the house after he had passed, did you find something like on a mirror or on the window of his handprint that maybe you didn't
Oh,
want to clean or wash?
oh my gosh. Yes, right
Okay,
out. There was a
perfect.
big heart on the mirror in the bathroom, and I did not want to clean it for years.
Wow. Well, he just keeps acknowledging to me to confirm to you or validate to you that it was him. He left that for you. So I feel in some way, sweetie, he wants to just show you that he's been doing so much to give you that reassurance that he's still very much with you, still very much a part of your life. He keeps telling me to say to you, he is very, very proud and pleased that you no longer have those dark thoughts that you once did.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so just know that he is your beautiful angel and he walks very much side by side. You know the song, I think her name is Sarah McLachlan, "In the Arms of the Angels." You know that song?
Thank you. I pray to angels every day, and he
Okay,
used to tell me, Mom, you're my saint and my angel, but I feel he is that.
absolutely. Well, just if you have a moment, I want you to just YouTube that song, "In the Arms of the Angels." Okay, and I just want you to know that there will come a day. There will come a day that you and your beautiful angel will be back in each other's arms, but it's not anytime soon, sweetie. So just keep moving forward, knowing he's by your side and that there is no time that separates the love and the heart that you and him both have together. So sincerely, thank you so much for allowing me to share that moment with you, and just know that he's never far from your side.
Oh, Dominic, God bless you.
Much love to you, darling. Thank you so much. And I will pass it over to the most beautifulest hostess with the mostest, Miss Sandra. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My friends, I'm left a little speechless, but I'm hoping you understand that it's not just these few that came through for their loved ones. These folks represent all of our loved ones, just how close they are to us in our life, and that they're still alive and they're still living, and we will see them again. So, Dominic, thank you so, so much for that. Friends, you can find out more about Dominic on his website, book a reading if you choose, dominicbogue.com. Easy to remember. His wonderful, very healing book is called The Voice of Spirit, The Boy Next Door with the Incredible gift. It's a great read. So lots of good things coming up on our We Don't Die website. We've got new classes. Before I get to that, I don't want to forget to say you can see Dominic live and in person coming up in November, along with Darren, Scott Milligan, our friend Josephine, and friends. Also, that will be in the Netherlands in November, and then in Plymouth, Massachusetts in April of 2026. Go to the website togetherwithspirit.com. It's a great opportunity to meet like-minded friends that you will have for life and then really be touched with the love of the spirit world. They're just incredible, incredible experiences. Togetherwithspirit.com. Okay, now back to what's coming up at wedon'tdie.com. Lots of good classes, demonstrations, and more. We have a class called The Gentle Path to Spirit, which is a psychic and medium class. We also have classes in trance and the altered states. Now, many of you know our friend Scott Milligan, the book Conversations with Eric. You don't ever have to be a medium to join our classes. They're beautiful opportunities to quiet that busy mind and use that creativity and love and feel the love from the unseen world, whether it's our guides, our inspirers, our loved ones. So we've got a demonstration sitting in the power hours. We've got a 3-hour trance intensive, and I'm at those as well. Also, this coming Thursday, in just a few days, our friends who are also mediums, Kath and Mitch Shirley. You may know them. They'll be on our Sunday gathering in not too many weeks. They're doing a free grief cafe. It's 90 minutes. They're both advanced grief recovery specialists. And they speak the language of the afterlife as mediums, but they really give these opportunities for people to learn about grief, to share. These are not recorded. These are private for you and the group that's there live, but they are so healing, and they only happen once a month. So the next one is this coming Thursday. Of course, you can find everything at wedon'tdie.com. If you click on the store page, it's got everything in chronological order, what's coming up. Next Sunday, us three amigos are back together. Darren will be planning our Sunday gathering. Dominic will be doing our demonstration, and I'll be filling in wherever is needed. So you want to register for that. About a half hour after our Sunday gathering ends, the wonderful medium Chris Jacobs will be with us doing a 90-minute full medium demonstration. So if you ever feel that you want more after a Sunday gathering, every couple of months we do this. And so it's just a smaller group, and we are with the spirit world, and we have more loved ones that come through. On my side, I have 3 new podcasts this week, and they're all doctors and mental health therapists who believe in the afterlife, what their journeys are, and some very comforting words. So again, you can find everything at wedon'tdie.com. A shout out to our friends who have made our Sunday gathering possible, whether it's $1 or $2, whatever it is. There's no pressure to ever donate, but I want you to really know how much we appreciate it. What you've done serving our community makes this possible for people all over the world, and continuing, because you can go to the Sunday gathering page at wedon'tdie.com. You can donate there, of course, but you can watch past Sunday gatherings, and you can fill yourself with inspiration. So thank you to our friends who have made our Sunday gathering possible. Just a few last words for me before we turn it over to Dominic for our closing prayer. Our words create our worlds. As we heard today, we can change our mind. We can make a difference. We can get dressed. We can get out of the house. It is difficult, but it all starts from within. So be mindful of the words that come out of your mouth, even those words we tell ourselves. It's difficult because our minds want to think for us, but we can do the thinking. Like I said, it's difficult, but you never know what you can do. My dad used to always use this great phrase from Henry Ford: if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So be mindful of that. And speaking of our minds are a terrible place to be alone. You know, they're filled with these weeds growing, the doubt, the fear, worried about the future, thinking about the past. Why not take a little challenge this week and get into somebody else's world? Pick up the phone, call a friend, get together with someone if you can. Even if you're out in the store, pay a compliment to someone. You can easily wait for things to happen to you, or you can be proactive. My little tip and trick that I use all the time with people, and they don't know I usually do it, but I get people talking about their favorite memories. There are times in their life that they've loved, and or a vacation, or what was it like when your child was born, or what's your favorite thing to eat? What's your favorite restaurant? I don't know. A trip to Gran Canaria, maybe, or Mexico, wherever that may be. Get them talking. And what happens is you both get out of your heads and you start talking about something you love. And then it's like it ricochets back and forth. And next thing you know, both of you feel better. So that's just one little proactive tip that we can all do. And it doesn't just serve you, but it serves another. And what's better than that? So with that, I'm going to send it back over to Dominic for our closing prayer.
Thank you, Sandra, for those great words, and I love it. If you think you can or you think you can't, then you are right. I am going to remember that for this week, that's for sure. But friends, let's come together once again for a moment of contemplation. Divine Spirit, Father God, we once again graciously thank you for allowing that veil to be parted and allowing our loved ones to come forth and speak their truth once again, that life truly is eternal. We thank them for giving us the guidance and the reassurance as we move forward, knowing that life is only but a weed that we can once again pluck out. But once again, we will meet each other in the garden of love, in the garden of joy, in the garden of healing. And we ask that you give us the healing that keeps us moving forward, knowing that life truly is eternal. And all this we say in your name, which is unconditional love. Amen.
Thank you so much, Dominic. And thank you, Darren, and to our friends here and our friends in the spirit world. We always like to leave you with a feel-good piece of music. Now, if you take all of our suggestions and recommendations this week, you'll be on your way to something unimaginable. So this is a song with a cute video from Phil Collins called On Our Way. Thanks so much, friends. Who else is on their way? Say, I'm on my way. See you next week, everyone. Bye.